Okay, let's dive into this explainer. Today we're doing a uniquely focused deep dive on a topic that has literally caused panic in closets all around the world. We're going to look at a singular, highly minimalist piece of source text. It's remarkably brief, it's incredibly direct, and it absolutely requires our undivided attention to unpack the layers hidden within just a handful of words. Here is our source material in its entirety, presented exactly as it appears. What is business casual woman? Take a moment to just let that sink in. It's almost like a modern digital artifact. It's a query entirely stripped of punctuation, completely lacking capitalization, and completely devoid of any surrounding context. It's a precise excerpt that somehow manages to ask this massive, culturally loaded question with incredible, almost clinical brevity. To truly understand the architecture of this excerpt, we've got to break it down right to its foundation. And we begin here. What is? This right here, this is the engine of the phrase. It signals a search for definition, a real need to categorize and understand. I mean, before we even know what the topic actually is, these two words immediately establish a state of seeking. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the surprising mathematical balance to our source text. We're dealing with exactly 5 words here. What is business casual woman? And every single word commands exactly 20% of the total query. No single concept dominates the others. They're perfectly equal partners in this active inquiry, sharing the exact same weight across our source material. As we investigate, it is so vital to remember how we're actually treating these words today. We're looking at them as precise, isolated excerpts. By taking this overarching query and breaking it down into these specific fragments, we can really see how they function independently, right before they lock together to create a larger meaning. So let's zoom back in on that very first action, the act of inquiry itself. Before we even reach the subject matter, the text establishes this super compelling state of searching. It presents a void that desperately needs to be filled. Honestly, it's a lot like staring blankly at your own wardrobe at 7 a.m. That narrative tension, it begins right from the very first syllable. We can map out this momentum quite literally. Step 1, what? The ultimate open-ended question. Step 2, is, an immediate demand for a current state of being. Together, these basically act as a launchpad. They forcefully propel the reader straight out of the known and directly into the totally unknown territory of the remaining 3 words. And that brings us to the thematic core of the text. Right here, squarely in the middle of our excerpt, we hit a massive thematic shift. We transition away from the act of asking, and we run headfirst into a fundamental, built-in paradox: business versus casual. And this brilliantly illustrates the real tension at the heart of our source. I mean, think about it. On one hand, we have business, right? A word evoking formality, strict structure, and corporate environments. But on the other hand, we have casual, which implies relaxation, informality, and total ease. They are stark, undeniable opposites. So the crucial point is how the text actually handles these opposing forces. We've got modifier 1 and we've got modifier 2. These two seemingly contradictory words are forced to sit directly next to each other. It creates this really powerful, unavoidable friction right smack in the middle of the sentence, way before we're even told what exactly they're modifying. Now, all of this built-up tension, all of this deep inquiry and paradoxical modification, it has to lead somewhere, doesn't it? It all funnels toward one ultimate destination, because after the question is finally asked and after the modifiers are firmly set, this subject absolutely must be identified. And you know what? It all leads down to exactly one thing. Just one. Out of all the complex, totally contradictory ideas we've just unpacked, the entire weight of the query relies on just one singular anchoring entity that's been waiting for us at the very end of the text. Here is the final anchor of our source. Standing entirely alone conceptually, this single word carries the immense rhetorical weight of absolutely everything that came before it. The initial inquiry, the rigid business element, the relaxed casual element, it is all applied directly and solely to this one final subject. Let's move to and see how this builds our complete picture by synthesizing everything we found. We've meticulously deconstructed all the components. First, the inquiry, what is? Second, that inherent paradox, business casual. And third, our anchoring subject, woman. Now, watch closely as these isolated concepts rapidly recombine. First up, business, a highly structured, formal expectation. Immediately followed by casual, the instant, striking subversion of that exact expectation. Culminating with woman, the singular subject bearing the heavy weight of both of those conflicting modifiers simultaneously. Which leaves us right back exactly where we started, but hopefully with a profoundly deeper understanding of the minimalist structure at play here. What is business casual woman? The source text itself offers absolutely no answers. It only gives us the perfectly balanced five-word architecture of the question itself. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to ponder. Is this digital artifact just a simple mechanical search for clothing parameters? Or does the very structure of the query reveal the totally contradictory demands constantly placed upon a single subject? Thanks so much for exploring this with me today. Keep asking those big questions, and I'll catch you in our next explainer.